Hey guys, my name is Jason with Prime Collectibles. You can find me on YouTube, Prime Collectibles. So I am this month's featured collector on the Batman Statue Collector, and I could not be happier. Chris was one of the first channels that I used to watch when I started collecting statues, so it's kind of an honor to be on the channel. So I have some questions that he wants me to answer, so let me get into them. The first question, it's not a question, feel free to tell us anything about yourself. Okay, so I live in Montreal, Canada. I was born and raised in the west coast of Canada. I grew up in the 80s, 90s, so that's kind of where I started my collecting. I used to collect G.I. Joes, Transformers, what else? Masters of the Universe, a bunch of that kind of stuff. It was that era that I started collecting. Got into my 20s and found out that on eBay you could catch up on all these things that I hadn't been collecting, that I was into when I was a kid. So that's kind of where my collecting spirit was rekindled, we'll put it that way. So I've been collecting action figures and that since then. Only in the past few years have I really got into quarter scale and third scale statues, and that's kind of where my collection has sort of taken itself to the next step. Okay, so question number 2 is, was there a certain property, like Transformers or Batman, that first got you interested in collecting? Yes, Transformers definitely initially got me back into collecting in my early 20s, like I mentioned, and then definitely when I started collecting statues, it was 2 things. It was Batman. Batman is my favorite superhero. I love the sort of dark, tortured soul style superhero, and I love the gothic sort of themes and imagery of Batman. I used to draw Batman a lot as a kid. And then also video games. When I found out that you could get some video game statues, a lot of the Street Fighter stuff really got me back into collecting in a major way. Number 3, what is the favorite statue you own in your personal collection? That is easy, and it's also the first statue that I ever got in 3 years ago, and that is PCS Chun-Li Battle Dress. It's not the best statue, technically speaking, in my collection. It's probably not the best quality statue, but I just love it. I love everything about her. It's what got me back into collecting in a major way, got me started into collecting statues. Chun-Li Battle Dress, PCS. So question 4, if you could own any piece, regardless of cost, what would you have in your collection? Honestly, there's nothing that I don't have that I would absolutely love to have, because the reality is, if I wanted something bad enough, I would find it and probably buy it. That's not the most cost-effective way to approach things, but it's just, you know, I would sell some statues and find a way to finance it. There are some things that I have pre-ordered already that I'm looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to the PCS Last Ronin piece with the Ninja Turtles, the Last Ronin, and then his sort of dead brothers in the background. I think that looks beautiful. There are some other pieces, but yeah, there's not one piece that I can think of, I can't wait to find that. Okay, so number 5. If you could have a company create your dream statue for your personal collection, what would you most want to have made? Good question. I know the statue that I want made, and that is Vampire Hunter D from Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, D on his horse, where it's bucking up after he just caught the arrow. That would be my absolute favorite statue in my collection if it was done right. Who would I want to do it? Probably Prime 1 if they're on their game. There are some Prime 1 statues that I don't love, but when they do it right, they are, in my opinion, almost unbeatable. So I'm gonna say Prime 1, quarter scale, D on horse. Okay, so that's it for the questions, guys. Let's get into a quick tour of my place.
Okay, so this is my man cave and gaming room, and some of my favorite statues are in here. Those Street Fighter statues, man, I love them. This whole room is just so colorful. That's, I think, one of the reasons why I love it.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that live, cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my fucking mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna erase them? Face it, I don't give up quick, I don't give up shit, I won't give up this. Cause I know that I want it, know that I'm on it, I'll make it, I promise. You don't wanna fuck with me. A slow.
These are actually some older pieces from when Final Fantasy X first came out. They're PVC, unlike the rest of them. And these are actually original Kotobukiya Final Fantasy VII statues. Now we move into the Marvel section. Got some Spider-Man villains here. Really beautiful pieces from XM. And the Carnage from Sideshow. I do have the new one pre-ordered. And some more Spider-Man. A stunning bust. Iron Studios Spider-Man. I love the pose of this guy, even if the statue itself is not the greatest quality. And a very underrated piece with the XM Black Cat. And now we've got some more Marvel characters. Some of the guys that I used to read comics of. Wasn't a huge Marvel fan, but I loved X-Men, loved Daredevil and Punisher, and Spider-Man. Ghost Rider as well. I still need to get myself a good Ghost Rider statue. Some Witcher statues from Prime 1. Not my favorite statues, to be honest. I would love to see better representations of these characters, but so be it. And now we get into the few X-Men statues that I have left in 1/4 scale. The rest I've moved all over to 1/10 with my Iron Studios dioramas. But these are nice. Cyclops, Brown Wolverine, the version of him that I grew up with. And a really dynamic Sideshow piece with Gambit here. Now I've got Alucard, one of my favorite characters, some Fairy Tale Fantasies, and my beloved collection of Bishoujo horror characters. Ooh, now we're into my DC lineup, my 1/3 scale DC lineup. This is in the sort of lounge area of my place. Obviously, some prizes of my collection here, especially this Superman. He is just so impressive in person. It's hard to describe how much of an impact he has and just commands so much attention. We get up into some of the Batman statues from various lines, all Prime 1. I love this Joker, but this Deathstroke is one of my favorite statues ever. And the beautiful Poison Ivy, wow. What a base. And face, what a base and face. Swamp Thing, gigantic, awesome, kind of savage looking, but still gentle at the same time. I love that. Huntress, beautiful statue as well. That leaning, that gentle lean against the wall is really unique with the flow of the cape. I love this statue. Now we get into Berserk. Another area of really, really big statues that I have. That's why they're with the other 1/3 scale, even though they're mostly 1/4 scale. I have a lot more coming in this lineup. I absolutely love these statues. They're really, really nicely detailed, and they're perfect representations of the manga and the anime. Beautiful. Griffith here. This is 1/3 scale Guts. I will probably replace him. I have a 1/4 scale one coming just to fit the lineup a little bit better, but for now he works as a centerpiece. Really, really nice statue. Zod, giant beast of a statue. Looks a little bit dwarfed by the 1/3 scale Guts, but that'll change. And then we've got the Black Swordsman up on this bloody cliff. Iconic pose here. Now we get into my nostalgia 80s and 90s room. This is really, I mean, there are other pieces of my collection that I love, but this room itself just really brings me the most joy. Got Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Masters of the Universe, Spawn, video game stuff, you know, Final Fantasy. This is the cartoon NECA lineup of Ninja Turtles, and I got a lot more coming for this. Some of the more obscure characters here. I love these, so colorful. so true to the cartoon. Now I've got G.I. Joe, got the full classified lineup so far, and some old school smaller pieces as well. Get into my masterpiece Transformers, obviously the Dinobots there. I've got almost a complete season 1 to 3 collection of the, 1 to 4 of the Transformers G1 characters, but these are masterpiece scale figures. Now we get into Motu, Masters of the Universe. These are the Mondo, although I have a number of the Origins figures as well. Now we're on to Spawn. These are some old Spawn figures from back when I was collecting years and years ago. A lot of the stuff's very classic. You saw some Akira and other little franchises in there as well. And now we get into some of the older Final Fantasy figures that I have, and a few new ones as well, and Golden Axe at the bottom there. And now the centerpiece of this room, which is the massive Iron Studios 1/10 scale diorama. All 3 Sentinel pieces and all the add-ons, or all the peripheral little characters that you can get so far. They just look so nice together. It's I can't stop looking at this diorama. Just all the characters you can imagine, either already here or coming. You know, Storm up there, Psylocke, Jean Grey, Professor X, everyone. Even Deadpool's getting in all the action here. Beautiful, beautiful piece. I'll just let you guys enjoy looking at it in detail here.
Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tour of my place. It was a real honor to be on the show. So thank you to the Batman statue collector, and he will see you in the Batcave.